How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Sparkplug TV podcast. I have no idea where Alex is today. He's been MIA for a little while, but hopefully he'll be back for the next episode. But this is Austin. He's actually a viewer of the podcast. Just to prove to you, we'll bring you on the podcast, man. Austin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my god, well, it depends on what you want to know, man. What kind of questions? I can't really think of anything right off the bat. You'll have to ask me stuff.
So, how'd you get into cars?
God, man, how did I get into cars? That's a tough one, man. I've grown up around them ever since I was little. I remember, just being around cars, whether it be, like station wagons, or it be, like my dad's Super B, his Monte Carlo, his lowrider. Yeah, we come from a long history of car people. Not only that, actually, and Jason, I don't think you knew this. I come from a very long line of professional drag racers.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, dude. My mom's dad was a pro drag racer, and I think his main car was a '57 Bel Air. He had three of them: one cherry red, one powder blue, and one canary yellow.
Man, he sounds like me with the S10.
Yeah, no, Grandpa loved his Bel Airs. I am telling you. And each one I think was pushing. I think my mom remember telling me right around like 560. I mean, back then, dude, that was a lot of power.
That is a lot
That
of
was
power.
fast.
560. Wow. On a 57 Bel Air, that's booking.
Yeah, dude, on a 57 Bel Air, and those chassis and those cars were not light, dude. Solid metal.
But they were also made for the couple hundred horse at the most it comes out of the factory with.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree, but he definitely, like I said, pro drag racer. He did some work to these cars, and they were his babies for sure.
Right. But I mean, the nice thing about those older cars for certain is the chassis were overbuilt for the power. Since the motor vehicle was still new-ish, we thought, you needed this really heavy steel chassis to handle 240 horses. When in all reality, you can handle 240 horses on a freaking aluminum rail.
Yeah, no, dude, these cars meant business, man. And just like I said, that's one of the things, like I said, that got me into cars. My grandpa was a pro drag racer. My brother, my dad, everyone, like all the guys in my family were all car nuts. I mean, we had this, what really set me off as far as working on cars was my brother had bought this, probably one of the cleanest old school Ford. I can't remember what series it was. Oh, sorry, hold on. Somebody was calling me. But I can't remember what series it was. But it's just I remember it weighed almost like 6,000 pounds.
Wow.
It was awesome, dude. You had to turn the wheel like 7 times to turn a corner, and it would backfire all the time. It was nuts. We worked on that thing. Excuse me, and we just changing engine swapping it, putting headers. I mean, cam for pistons, everything we could change on that truck, we changed. And that, like, I just remember being probably about 10 or 11 years old, growing like just in the garage all the time with my dad and my brother working on these vehicles. And it just I grew to thoroughly enjoy really tearing stuff down and seeing how just how all these vehicles and all these parts worked, how they fit together, how they moved. And it just, ever since then, man, it's you know been an obsession and kind of I get a borderline addiction, you could say, man. I haven't owned to.
I can attest that cars are an addiction for sure.
Yes,
I mean,
they are, man.
especially me as an example, since I recently lost my favorite vehicle I've ever owned, which was my 1998 Chevy S10 I called Midnight.
I remember you talking all the time at work about that S10, dude.
Dude, I'm like itching to get a new one, man. I'm constantly scouring marketplace looking for the right deal on a black 90s uh single cab manual S10.
But does it have to be a black one? Oh,
Well, it doesn't have to be black. However,
I guess it would just
looking it up, black was the most common color people got them in.
right.
So it's usually easier to find black, white, and red S10s.
Yeah, dude, believe it or not, actually, now that you mention it, man, S10s. Anytime I've ever seen one, it's always either been in that really ugly like pea green, or it's been black, or it's been white. I think God, in like my whole 28 years of life, man, I've only seen like one red S10, and it
Go
just
look
so
on
happened to be a
Marketplace,
four
you'll see
door.
a bunch.
I might have to, man. But
I'm not kidding. That's like all I found recently is red S10s. It's like
that's
it's like I can do that. I can paint over it, but
it would just make it easier on you.
right, I don't want to paint it. I just want to, run a buffer over it, hopefully.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a bunch of pain in the ass stuff I don't want to deal with.
I found one that I could just run a buffer over, but I need a driver side interior door panel because it's broke.
Dude,
And
go to pick and pull or something. I guarantee
right,
you'll find something there.
I bet you I could. But
I,
it's $3,500 in Springfield, and we're in St. Louis.
yeah, dude, Springfield's like a 3.5 hour drive from here. And
Yeah,
I only know that, dude, because literally like a month ago, we took a trip down to like a day trip down to Springfield just to go to the aquarium, dude. It was like 3.5 hours there and like
just to go to
almost
the
four.
aquarium.
Yeah, worth it, man. Definitely worth it.
I've been to the Branson Aquarium, and I've been to the aquarium in not the aquarium. I've been to the Bass Pro in Springfield. But I mainly stopped in Springfield to say what's up to my guys at Detail Garage Springfield. If y'all live in the Springfield area and you're listening to this podcast, go check them out. They will hook you up with everything you need to make sure your car stays shiny going down the road.
I, I actually need to make a pit stop by a detail garage here soon, man. My,
Valley Park, Missouri, brother.
I might have to, man, because uh, God love her. My wife spilt coffee on my Jeep interior, and I don't know if you've seen my Jeep, but it's not like a black or gray interior. It's literally like a nice like light tan cream color.
Oh man.
It thankfully it didn't stain too bad. You can't really notice it unless you actually sit there and focus on it. But every time I get in that car, I look over in the passenger seat, and I'm just like my heart breaks. I'm like,
I used to work for him. What you need is some fabric clean. Dilute that about 15 to 1. Spray it on there. Agitate with a drill brush. Suck it out with a vacuum. Spray it with some water. Suck that out with a vacuum.
yeah, no, dude, that's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't want to take it to get professionally detailed because for what I could do for about $30-$40, they're gonna charge me a hell of a lot more
Well, yeah.
just to get a spot,
I
dude.
mean, I mean, being a master detailer myself, I have these certificates.
Maybe I'll just pay you to do it.
Uh, I charge a fair amount for doing anything, mainly because I know how to get that really nasty to you looking stain out in about 15 minutes.
Nice, man.
So what you're not exactly paying me for like my time and material, you're paying me for my material and experience.
Oh yeah, no, dude. It's not. You're pay. I'm paying you not for like you said, not for the time, but the experience and the amount of time you spent learning how to do
Right.
that job in such a
Because
short time.
because most detail work is flat rate. It's this is how much it costs to do this, no matter how long it takes me. If it
Oh
takes
yeah,
me an excessive amount of time, there's gonna be a surcharge because I have to use more chemical than I thought I was gonna have to, which costs me more money. So I need to make that back.
yeah, I definitely agree. But anyway, what's the what about this next question, man?
All right.
Don't want to
What
stray
is
too
the
far off topic.
what's your favorite car you've ever owned?
Oh gosh, my favorite car. That's a tough one, dude. My God, had a '90, and I don't think I've ever actually told you about this car, dude. It was one of my favorites. It was actually two of them. Scratch that. I'll have to give you a couple of different answers here. Currently, it's my Jeep, hands down, dude. Definitely the nicest car I've ever owned. It better be for $700 a month. Yeah, it better be $700 a month,
Right.
about 35 Ks. Yeah, dude, it's nuts. But as far as my absolute favorite goes, it would have had to have easily been my '95 Grand Prix, which, dude, I think you would have loved it. It was it
Grand
was
Prix are fun.
it was a yeah '95 Grand Prix, man.
I had
Straight
a Daytona 500 edition come into my shop the other day.
nice, man. This Grand Prix was dope, man. It was literally, I kid you not, it sat probably 2 or 3 inches off the ground. So
Every time.
it was slammed on its balls, dude.
Every
Everything,
time. The first time I go to Ash, I knock the cherry out.
yeah, I hate that dude. Uh, but no, definitely hands down. The '95 Grand Prix was fun, dude. It was slammed. It was. I actually got it. I didn't. That's the only one of the only cars I didn't do any work to. Sure, scratch that. Yeah, definitely one of the only cars I didn't do any work to. It was slammed. It was because the guy I got it from, it was slammed. It was straight piped.
Well,
Um,
heck, you didn't have to do any work.
yeah, no, it was slammed, straight piped. Had he had just, I mean, put brand new headers, cam, everything in there. Um, it was definitely, like I said, one of my favorites. As far as speed goes, it actually, believe it or not, was not that fast. But dude,
Not
this thing,
fast, just loud.
oh, it was very loud. Like we took it down to Hall Street one time, and
Hall Street was fun.
it was, man, but it got a little too
It
dangerous.
got too bad.
Yeah, for y'all who don't know, especially who don't live in St. Louis, got way too dangerous, man.
Hall Street
Uh,
was like the local street racing
yeah,
road.
yeah, no, dude, it was super fun. Like I said, we took it down there. It was me and my brother, his fiance, and and our cousin. And I remember we were just driving down the street, and we threw it neutral for a second. I just floored the gas, dude, and it like just you could hear the engine scream. And next thing you know, you hear about like 3 or 4 car alarms going off.
I
This thing was loud, dude. It sounded for a '95 Grand Prix. It sounded like mean, dude. It was nice.
mean, hell,
Uh,
my '04 4.8 sounds pretty good. I just have a Flowmaster Super 10. I lopped the muffler off and welded the Super 10 right to where the muffler is, and it's a dual exit, so I just put two
nice.
downpipes.
And now, as far as my other favorite car, dude, I think I've actually mentioned this one to you, man. It was my 2008 Saturn Astra
You have
XR.
told me about this one.
That was a fun, even though it was a front wheel drive car. This car was a sleeper, man. Uh, Definitely. I mean, like I said, it was for sure a love hate thing. Saturn, dude, shitty car brand. No wonder they're not in production anymore. Well, here in the states, I don't think they are. I know in other
Mm-mm.
countries they are still produced under a different name. Can't
I don't
remember
think
what
you
name it
could get
is.
it. I don't think there is. I
Yeah,
could
dude.
check.
That that car was fun. A lot of the time, it was definitely a sleeper. It looked like shit, but it was fast. It was really fast. But the only thing, or sorry, one of the one of the few things I hated about the car is anytime I would get on a highway and I would floor it, and I would get up to right about like 100, 105, and the car would shake violently.
Oh, dang.
That was scary. It was essentially like a rolling death trap, man.
So
Um,
when that happens is when you need to tighten up the suspension. Like really look into your suspension and see what does it need, why is it doing this.
yeah, because the ride was pretty rough. Like I said, I loved it. I didn't really fit too well because that's a small car, dude, and it had
I
bucket
mean,
seats
hey,
in it.
I mean, hey, I know a guy that's bigger than you and he fits in a Mini Cooper comfortably.
That is nuts, dude. It's like,
I hear they're very spacious on the inside.
yeah, for a small car, it's a pretty spacious car for a small one. Like I said, the Astra, it just, I'm not gonna lie, man, I miss it. I had neon inside the car. The exhaust. Sorry about that.
You're good.
It was the wife.
You're good.
Anyway, but yeah, just I remember I had like cobalt, like a really nice, pretty like royal blue neon inside the car. That was awesome, man. Installed it myself. Um, and we bought our Hyundai Sonata, which that's another story for another time. That was the probably the worst car I've ever owned.
The Hyundai
Uh,
Sonata.
it was, yeah, dude, no, it was horrible. But that's, like I said, I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Um, but definitely the Saturn was fun, man. But we parted ways with it. We gave it to her mom and dad, and actually, I think last year or the year before, it was unfortunately totaled,
Yeah.
and it was honestly it like I said, man, love hate thing. That was It was rough, dude. It was a terrible car, but I loved it. But as far as like I said, the best car I've ever personally owned, like I said, my Jeep Grand Cherokee, 100% the best car I've ever owned. Excuse me.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen it. It looks great. Your Jeep looks great.
I take care of it, man. I try to, but now technically the best car I've ever owned, or not ever owned, but ever, if you want to talk about driving, hands down the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, dude.
The Trackhawk.
That Trackhawk was
I've never driven the.
bonkers.
I haven't driven a Trackhawk. I've driven some pretty wild rides, but I haven't driven a Trackhawk.
Oh, dude, I promise you, this Trackhawk would shit on anything you've ever driven, dude.
I
Uh,
doubt that. I'm sorry, but I highly doubt that.
I don't know, dude. This thing was nasty, man. It was crazy. Yeah.
2021 Lamborghini Aventador SVJ.
Well, we're not talking about Lamborghinis. We're talking about a Trackhawk, dude.
I thought we were talking about cars we driven.
Dude, but no, as far as like the uh the Trackhawk was definitely, like I said, the best car I've ever personally driven. I remember it actually. The only reason I ever actually got to drive it was I was working for the place I currently work for, and we had a contract with the Mizzou campus in Columbia, Missouri,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
it was about like a 2.5 hour drive, and this was our last one for the year, and it's like I said, very last one, end of our contract, and I went up to the Hertz dealership, or not dealership, but the Hertz place, and was just looking around, just something comfortable. He's like, whichever one you want to rent. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see a white SUV sitting in the corner, and I'm like, oh, that's probably a Durango RT or something. Cool. I mean, not something I really want to drive right now.
Right.
And I looked up and I saw it was a Trackhawk. And I'm sitting there just like, I did not break eye contact with this car. I'm staring at it so hard. I'm like,
It's like, ooh.
I would
It's
do.
that look. It's that look that every car guy has when you're like, I'm driving that bitch.
Yeah, dude, forget what I do for a yeah, dude, forget what I would do for a Klondike bar. What would I do to drive that Trackhawk, man?
Right?
And the guy noticed I was looking at it, and he actually, his friend was friends with my GM at the time, and he's like, "You know, I'll cut you a deal." He's like, "Here's the keys, you can take it," but he's like, "I really need you to do me a favor. Do not speed. Do not do anything stupid in this car." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, for sure." No, dude. As soon as we got on the
Fuck no,
highway,
I'm drifting.
no, I'm not drifting, dude, because I I got on the highway, and it was me and a coworker of mine. I actually scared him pretty bad. Um, we got on the highway, and I looked around. I looked in my rearview mirror and the side mirrors. I looked at him. He's like, "Don't do it, dude." I'm like, "I'm gonna do it." And
Oh, I'm totally doing it.
I was like, "I got it. I got to." And I remember I
Like
held.
everything in my body is telling me, stomp that fucking throttle.
Oh, I didn't stop it because obviously I don't want to like spin out and crash, dude. But I definitely like gradually like applied more and more force on the gas pedal, and I just remember going from about like 65, 70 miles per hour, and then with not even what seemed like not a blink of an eye, I'm already at almost like 109.
Wow.
The acceleration is nuts. The scream of the supercharger is
You know, that's what that I really wonder why car companies allow like kids to purchase like 16-year-old kids as their first car to purchase a supercharged beast.
yeah.
Supercharger power is automatic. There's no lag like with a turbo. A turbo has to spool. A supercharger is right to
It
your crank.
right
It's immediate.
the turbo has to build boost. It'll lag for a second, and then once that boost hits, boom, you're
But
gone.
yeah, once that boost hits, you're
This
fucked.
this just went, dude. And it was like I said, it was definitely fun, man. It didn't even feel like you were going that fast, honestly. It felt like maybe I was like, okay, I'm probably doing like 80, maybe 85. No, dude, I was doing like almost like 110 miles per hour, and it's just, I gotta slow down, man, because like I'm in Colombia, dude. I'm gonna get pulled over and put in jail. I was like, they do not mess around out here, man. I definitely do not want to be pulled over in a car that's not even
No.
mine, and on company time.
Exactly. That that would be horrible. That was your mic, probably.
Yeah, no, dude, that was somebody falling upstairs. I don't know who it was, but
Oh,
they're fine. They'll be all right. Yeah, dude, definitely that was the best car I've ever driven, hands down. The only car that I think would ever, and I mean ever, top of that, man, is to, I would have to get my hands on, and this is just me, but I think one of the best looking, like the sexiest cars ever made is oh man, the Countach. I would love to get my hands on a Countach.
I heard they're slow.
That's not why I want to drive one, dude. I don't care if it's slow. I just want to
I just
drive
want to
one.
drive it. I want to drive one too. That's one I haven't driven.
That or the Deval 16, or and a lot of people, I might get you a lot of hate for this because a lot of people are like, oh, they're ugly cars. The Koenigsegg Jesko
Oh,
would
I
have to
love it.
be
I love the look of that.
one of the fastest street production cars that can be driven on the road, man.
Honestly, if I had the funding and the chance to purchase a Koenigsegg Regera, I would, because I really, really want to feel what that uh, solid axle to motor feels like.
Yeah, the Regera, the Regera would be awesome. I think.
It doesn't have a transmission.
What?
I'm not kidding. It doesn't have a transmission. It
Oh,
has some fancy. It does have some fancy thing to like put it in forward, neutral, and reverse. But it's also capable of 200 miles an hour.
I gotta Google this. Hold on.
The Koenigsegg Regera.
Does the Koenigsegg Regera have a transmission?
According to Road and Track, Koenigsegg's Regera hypercar is special in a lot of ways.
What?
Perhaps the most interesting part of the car is the fact.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I did not know that was even possible.
The Koenigsegg Regera is a limited production
Oh yeah,
plug-in
very limited.
hybrid. It's a sports car, but it was like made for touring, and it legitimately does not have a transmission.
A turbo V8 since powered to 3 electric motors, one mounted on the front of the crankshaft to power the batteries, and one for each rear wheel.
That's nuts. Like that's absolutely nuts.
Okay, but I mean the Regera. Okay, you're talking about the Regera. Are we talking about like the older one? Or are we talking about the newer ones?
The newer ones.
Yeah, no, dude. I don't have a problem with the newer ones. I like the older
They're,
Regeras.
they're about $2 million.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, because we all just have that kind of money laying around to spend that kind of money on
And
a car.
the upkeep on it, it's like $500,000 a year on the upkeep.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll just stick to my Jeep Grand Cherokee, man.
I'm
For what that car costs, man, I could do so much to
gonna be
my current
100%. I'm
vehicle.
gonna be 100% honest with you. A race car with more horsepower that can go faster is cheaper to maintain.
Oh yeah, dude! Like literally for what that car cost, or even a fraction of what that car cost,
I
I
can make something 10 times faster.
I don't. Yeah, you definitely could, dude. I could easily build an engine or just like a car, like just from the ground up.
And by faster, I don't mean like top speed. I mean in a quarter-mile drag race.
Yeah, that actually makes me wonder, dude. What would the Regera do in a quarter mile? Because it's definitely not a drag car. I would say it's more of a track car, hands down. But
Oh yeah,
it's
for
a
sure.
lot of these track cars, man, that do like I have incredible track times, man. I wonder what they would do on just like a straight path.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try to Google that here.
That actually it reminds me of a video I saw, dude. Um, an unlikely car that I never thought I'd ever see on a drag strip was a was the Bugatti Veyron Super Sport.
Oh, dude, there's been a Veyron at Gateway.
And no, I never expected to see this car on a track on a strip before, but it wasn't that car itself that surprised me. It was the one that it
No,
was
that's the
racing.
one-to-one. No, that's the one-to-one.
Guy had a clapped out, and just gonna surprise you, a clapped out Nissan Juke.
Wow.
Dude, and when I say this Nissan, I mean before the Veyron even left the the starting line, dude. That Juke was already almost gone.
That's crazy.
Hold on.
I mean, it's crazy. This thing. So I'm pulling up some more information about the Regera.
Right.
This thing's nuts.
Oh my gosh, man! I gotta let her its specs, like its torque and its horsepower.
Like, oh my god. I can't find a quarter-mile time on it, so it's probably never done a drag strip no one's probably done one in a drag strip
I mean,
quarter mile.
respectfully, man, for so something like that, like a Regera, and the how exclusive it is, and how limited production is, and the people who can actually afford to have them, I don't think would ever actually be like, I'm gonna spend almost $4 million on a hypercar, and I'm taking it straight to the drag strip.
Yeah.
They probably not, dude. There are some crazy people out there who do that. With like Aventadors, I mean a whole like slew of other cars, like Lamborghinis and
Well,
like
Lamborghinis are also only a few hundred thousand, only like a couple to a few $100,000.
true, but it also depends on which Lamborghini you're looking for and how limited the run is. Like you have like the
Very true.
Lamborghini Sian, or however you pronounce it. You have the what is it? I know it's not it's not the SVJ.
No, the SVJ is a pretty open model.
It kind of reminds me of the Sian, but it's not. I think it's like the Centenario or whatever. Now that production is not the production. That pronunciation is probably butchered to hell. So
Oh,
don't shoot
probably
me over it.
is.
Um. Oh my
We're not
god.
fluent in Lamborghini, okay?
Yeah, we
It's
don't
not it's
speak
not car
Lamborghini here.
it's not cars that we're like debating on buying every day. We come across one on occasion on Marketplace and go, "Oh, that'd be really cool." I can't afford that.
Oh
I
yeah,
see
dude.
I see six numbers. I'm like, "Ooh." I clicked the wrong
Dude,
ad.
anytime I see anything past $30,000, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
Right.
But definitely, dude. All right, what other
I
topics we got? Sorry.
I uh didn't I want to touch back on the kids buying supercharged beasts as first cars. You told me a story about when you were buying your Jeep, right?
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah.
And a kid and his parents came in and bought what you believe was his first car.
I'm pretty, like I said, that he could have been like 17 or 18, and this was his first car, dude. Because I remember sitting at the table when they came in, waiting for the guy who was going to sell us the Jeep to come back with us for like the official like numbers and everything. Because we told him like, okay, so like what's this gonna cost? He's like, like 36. I'm like, we're not paying 36. We'll pay like 34. We didn't. Ideally, I was like, I don't want to go over 27,000. That is max cap for me.
Right.
But we ended up jumping up to, 34. Because I mean, dude, $34,000 is literally probably the new like 25K, and especially for a Jeep since they hold their value so notoriously well.
Yeah,
Um,
they really do.
yeah, but dude,
I don't
like
know why.
eh, neither do I, dude. But they really do hold their value, and like I said, yeah, he was buying a Mustang. He bought the GT 500, man, and
The
that was
GT 500.
it was on a used car lot. I mean, it definitely. I mean, wasn't. It definitely wasn't. I wouldn't say insanely high miles because it's actually one of the cars that I was looking at, and I wasn't really gonna buy it. I'm just like, I got to see this thing up close. I've never actually been more than 5 feet, up like from a car like this. So I was like, this is my chance to get up close, and I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna pop the hood, look at everything, just sit in it and see what it's
Just
like.
look it over.
Yeah, dude. No, this was like a week or two before we officially decided to buy a car, and I was just getting really like ideas for window shopping.
Yeah.
But the kid ended up, him and his mom, his dad, co-signed for him, and he ended up buying this car. They bought it for him, and like I said, not even about like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes later, we left, and we saw him sitting on the side of the road with his wheel just like completely like destroyed because he couldn't handle it, man. Like I said, you're talking about a car that easily, like I said, straight from the factory is supercharged, and it's probably working with, I mean, probably high six, maybe low 700 horsepower. And I mean, combined with, like I said, rear wheel drive.
760 horsepower V8.
Yeah, dude, it's stupid. So I was definitely a little off. No, he, I was just like I said in my head, dude, sitting there thinking like, man, he literally, that is almost $100,000 muscle car, dude, for a car that has less than 30,000 miles, supercharged, and has only been like, this model has only been out for like maybe 2 or 3 years at that point. Because like I was looking, I also saw a brand new one inside the showroom, and that one was almost like 146,000.
Oh man.
But yeah, that one, the one inside the showroom, dude, was even prettier. It was white. It had blue racing stripes, black wheels. The interior was, I think, black and white.
Ooh.
Gorgeous looking car, dude. But anyway, back to the other guy. He, like I said, 50 minutes later, he was sitting on the
He
side of the road,
totaled it.
wheel. Yeah, it was. I guess in a way, technically, you could say drivable. But once like for me personally, I feel like once your tie rod is snapped, like, cause like it was like folded in almost like just like this, man. So I don't know how hard he hit that curb, but that Mustang was totaled. Hands, there was
Wow.
no saving that car. And imagine, I just felt bad for his mom and dad, and not only that, the insurance person, he had to call and be like, "Hey, yeah, so I just totaled. Like, what can you guys do?" And this, like, the insurance guy's like,
He's getting dropped.
"What? You totaled what?"
Depending on how good his parents are with that insurance company, they're getting dropped.
Oh, dude, hands down, I would. Just like I said, I don't
My
believe.
my my insurance company would be like, "You did what? No, we're done.
Yeah,
We're done."
like, listen, dude. Like, is there something we can do? Because if I call my insurance company, they're gonna break up with me.
Oh
But yeah,
man,
dude, definitely. Like I said, I definitely agree. All around, back to like the original point of this whole episode, man. I don't really think right off the gate you should, unless you can prove. And I feel positive ways to do this. To you shouldn't be allowed to buy a car with that much power right off the gate. I feel
so
like
look, so look. I'm gonna be real. So like, you've it's not your first car, but you're in like your 20s and you want to have a cool car, but you've been driving for a while. You're a car guy. You should be able to buy this because you know how to handle a car. Now, you're 16, you just got your license, you go to the dealership with mom and dad, and you see that thing tucked away in the corner, used, and you're like, I want that, and your parents buy it for you, you're gonna total it, and you're most likely gonna hurt yourself.
yeah, no, dude, it was. Uh, I felt like I felt horrible for him and his parents. I'm like, dude, that sucks. He was like, that had to have been his
Like,
dream
yeah,
car,
that
dude.
really sucks.
But then again, I'm like, that's kind of what you get, dude, for thinking, you get behind the wheel of what is essentially a street legal race car, and you're like, I'm gonna do a burnout. Oh, I watched one or two videos on YouTube. I used to watch, like Cletus McFarlane and like Whistling Diesel. I know how to do this. No, dude, don't. You're not a professional. Don't be stupid in a car like that.
Yeah. I
But
mean, watching some of these guys on YouTube can help you get to the point you can handle it.
I,
They if you really pay attention and you really want to learn, you can learn a lot from
no,
these guys.
I know.
I watch them. I watch them.
God, dude,
I'm trying to learn more. I'm trying to find a roller so I can get working on a V8 S10.
dude, I've been watching a lot. Now that we're talking about this, I've been watching a lot, and I mean a lot of not Cletus, not Whistling Diesel, but I think his name's like Western Chamberlain or whatever.
Yes, dude, he
The
diesel
Cummins,
swapped a Mustang.
yeah, a
He pulled
Cummins
the
turbo
five
diesel.
O. He pulled the 5.0 out of a Mustang and
Put
dropped
a
the
Cummins in it,
Cummins in it. But
and
then he put that 5.0 in something crazy too, didn't he?
I think so, man. But
I thought he saved it.
I was too hyper focused on the fact I'm like, this man had the
Cummins swapped
balls
a Mustang.
to take a 5.0 engine, which is already that's. I feel for me like
That's a work of art.
I'll definitely get into the Mustang uh thing here in a little bit. Um, but I feel like the 5.0 engine that's already an engine that creates for what it is a good amount of power
I mean,
out of
seriously,
a beautiful car.
A 5.0 Coyote is a work of art.
Yeah, dude, hands down. But dude had the balls. He's like, nah, Coyote's not gonna cut it. I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna put a turbocharged Cummins in this Mustang, and I'm just gonna make it the baddest burnout machine there is, and that's
And he did
exactly
it.
what he did.
He
But
did it. He'll blow white and black smoke at the same time.
trying to think,
Call that
didn't
a yin
he?
yang burnout.
Was it? I can't remember if it was him, dude. I think it was or who it was, but they did something with like a charger or like an old charger or Challenger, and just like he ended up blowing like two or three engines, I think, before finally getting it right, and the car would actually run properly.
I don't know.
I think it was him actually.
I think it was.
But yeah, dude, a Cummins
It
slap
wasn't
Mustang.
donut. It wasn't donut. It wasn't throttle. It wasn't Chris Fix. It
It wasn't
wasn't.
daily driven exotics. It was Definitely not. I feel like Whistle and Diesel would probably be stupid enough to do something like that,
I
but
feel like he might.
he mainly deals in obviously what his name implies,
I mean, yeah.
diesels.
Demolition Ranch is starting to build some pretty cool shit.
Yes, a gun. It's not like when the guy who's like all about guns is like, you know what? I'm gonna
I want
start
to build
bringing.
shit.
I'm gonna bring Cletus McFarlane. We're gonna shoot live nitrous tanks. Um, and then I'm also gonna bring Whistle and Diesel, two of the most like bonkers out of their mind car guys there is on the internet today. And I was like, I'm gonna do what they do. I'm gonna build. Oh gosh, what was
He did the El Cromino.
El Camino? What's that? Oh my! Don't even get me started on how cool that thing was. It was the ugliest thing ever for a while, and he would just drive
Doesn't
it
he
up.
have? Doesn't he have a 6x6 now?
Dude, he has a lot of stuff. Honestly, man, he had the Raptor for the longest time, but he gave that to Diesel.
He did.
Um, I'm pretty sure he did because he's like, oh, I lost a bet and I have to give my truck to Whistle and Diesel. Now I don't really know if that was just for like like a little publicity. But last I watched his video, he mentioned something like, "Oh, I have to give my truck to Whistle and Diesel, but I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna shoot through the bed with a 50 cal." Um, oh god, dude, like I said, that Cummins turbo Mustang, dude. I'm like that is the level of crazy mechanic that I want to be. I want to take the most outrageous engine I can find, make it I produce a stupid amount of power, then I want to smack it in my Jeep and just have fun, dude.
I want to build a. I want to build a 60LS and throw it in a 95 Chevy S10.
95. You and your S10s, dude.
I want to. I want to put 1,000 horsepower into a street legal Chevy S10 that weighs next to nothing.
God, dude, that'll be interesting to see if how you get that street legal.
What do you mean?
We're talking about a
You
street
only have
legal.
to you only have to pass a few things on your safety and emissions test.
Yeah,
And
no,
since it's a 95, it doesn't need emissions.
yeah, no, that's true. I didn't really take that into consideration. But
That's why I want a 95, not a
God,
90, not a
could you
98. But I'm going to
could you
take the front clip from a 98 and put it on the 95.
but seriously, could you imagine, man, just the absurd amount of like looks you can get? Like, oh, you see like an S10 rolling down the street, you're like, yeah, that's a cool like mini truck there, if that's what you want to consider it.
In all reality, there's a turbocharged with nitrous 6.0 under the hood. So, Insta spool.
And right, and they're like, dude, that car, that's actually one of the cleanest S10s I've ever seen, man. Can we take a look under the hood? You pop that, and like you said, it's turbocharged with nitrous, and there's 1,000 horsepower sitting in that bay, man. Oh my gosh, that's
And
ridiculous.
it's slammed on an angle kit because I finally found someone who made an angle kit for an S10 so I can drift it.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's perfect. There's no weight in the rear end. So super smooth, super easy transfer.
Right, okay, but let me ask you this then. So you're talking about you want to build 1,000 horsepower turbocharged nitrous S10 and with an angle kit and drifting. Oh, gosh, dude. I don't know, man. I feel like that's for a drift car, that is a stupid amount of power, man. I
No,
feel like
not really. Most of those guys are running 1,200.
really,
In Formula Drift, most of them are 1,200 horse.
gosh, man, Formula Drift.
I mean,
is something else.
think about it though. Think about it though. You have to maintain a sliding burnout at about 60 miles an hour, so you still need enough traction to move you forward, as well as smoke the tires so they're loose when you want them loose and traction when you want traction. You
Yeah,
need
no,
a
man.
lot of horsepower to manage that. And if you really want to manage that with a turbo V8, nitrous on the turbo inlet to help spool it is really nice. Like I want to put a it'll be a wet nitrous setup because if I'm putting jets on it, they're gonna be wet, and it'll just
Sounds
jet
about right.
and it'll just jet. Actually, no, I should probably do that one dry and do the ones on the intake manifold wet, so that way I'm not using all the gas.
Do
But
what you gotta do, man.
But what it'll do is it'll shoot that jet of pressurized nitrous on the fin of the turbo and push it at a lower RPM so that way it spools up right when I want the power. So if I'm shifting, I have no lag, essentially. There's no boost. It'll just
Right.
be.
Yeah, no, dude. Gosh, man. That would definitely, like I said, now that the more you talk about it, man, that would definitely
It'll
be
be
something I'd pay to
nuts.
see. Like you go to like Midnight Madness, Madness. You got a couple of Formula Drift guys just messing around one of the lots. You typically
Did
see
I show
something.
up?
Yeah, right. It's like you see somebody in like probably
A
like a Lexus
street
like
legal.
LS. Right, you see somebody in like a Lexus like LS 300. You see somebody, of course, in the Skyline, in like the 350, 370Z, and all your like your basic, like very like common drift cars, Civics or whatever. And you're like, dude, that was dope. And then all of a sudden, here comes Jason, just like in his little mini truck, cruising, and it's like, lo and behold, like this thing is about to just shit
Cruise,
on everything that you just saw.
pull up, get out, jack it up, swap the tires, go have fun. It'll be nuts.
Oh my gosh,
That
that
is
would be
the
insane to
entire.
have.
It is the entire point of this S10 build. I want to go absolutely crazy, and then I want to go to as many events in a year as I possibly can with it. I
As
want
many
to
events
show
in a
it
year.
off. When I'm done with it and it's ready to go, I'm showing it off.
Something like that, dude. I definitely, yeah. Like I said, I would definitely show it off because I mean, especially as much time and money you're gonna put into it, I would want people to see like how I'm like, hey, this. I was like, I just literally, I thought about this crazy ass idea. I made it happen, and now I want, I know what it can do. I want you guys to see what it can do.
Yeah.
Now you're fucking shutting down fucking GTRs
I
and
mean, I'm gonna go.
Formula Drift.
I'm gonna literally pull a motor out of the junkyard, clean it up, get it clean, get the heads decked, ported, get the cylinders bored over,
Right.
and get that decked, get
That's a
everything cleaned up, and then
that's a
just send it back to me, and I'll assemble it.
that's another thing, man, that I feel is something that people overlook. Not while you said you're going to a junkyard is everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna, I can understand it can be scarce, but they do have diamonds in the rough, man. Uh, like I've seen videos of people finding like not only like superchargers in the junkyard, um, like
There's
finding a
a
pretty decent turbo kit. I've seen people find like a nice set of bags to put in their car,
there's
coils.
a there's a couple 2JZs in the junkyard near my house. The nearest
Yeah,
junkyard, there's like 3 2Js.
and yeah, like I said, I was getting to that, like, and people who
Them
want to buy
Lexus,
like all
those Lexus, dude, Lexus, they came out with a lot of cars with the 2J in it.
the poor man's Supra.
Yeah, they came out. There was a lot of them with a 2J.
I
If
was
you
I
want a
was
2J
just
swap, ooh, whoa, what would you 2J? Ooh, I could 2J swap my 1950 3100.
there's an idea. We could two Jason. No, dude,
Nobody has ever done that.
dude,
No
no,
one has done it.
that would void all my warranties. I can't do that.
It would void all your warranties,
Oh yeah,
dude. I'm the one over here talking about putting V8s and stuff that shouldn't have V8s.
yeah, no, dude.
But
Because
No, I would really, if I could get my hands on one, a Chevy 632. Oof,
There's a good one.
cam it. Just oh man.
Yeah, but like I said, realistically, if like you're gonna like if like what I was gonna say, if a lot of all these people are out there going online like to websites and buying like all these brand new, almost and sometimes used ones through websites and everything, which isn't a problem. You can always find them in a good deal somewhere, but a lot of people don't really. I feel
I don't think they respect that horsepower number.
no, it's not that. It's not what that's not what I was gonna say. I feel like a lot of people don't really think about like, hey, I'm spending all this money, on not only the engine itself, you're going to be paying like shipping and handling and everything else to get that sent to you if it's out of state or wherever it's from.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, well, a lot of people overlook like back to the junkyard thing. Like you said, there's at least like two or three 2JZ motors sitting in the junkyard, man. They overlook it, man. And a lot of places
They're
do like
closing down because of it. A lot of junkyards are actually closing. They're not making money.
I don't understand how people don't really go for that, man. Because yeah, I mean, sure, it's a junkyard. There's a lot of junk there, man. But that's the I feel like the beauty of a junkyard. You never really know what you're gonna actually find in these.
Like, dude, the grill on my 2004 Silverado. Yes, it looks like it's a newer model. I promise you it's an '04.
Yeah, no,
But
definitely.
I found that grill. It's all over the Sparkplug TV Instagram, and I did a video on the doing the headlights on it. Like, I got that front grill in a junkyard for $20.
Yeah, dude, a lot of places like, oh, if you can carry it, you can have it for like $20, or like
Yeah.
whatever their set amount is. And like I've
Like,
seen video.
I wasn't even there to buy anything for me. I was meeting a friend of mine there to help him pull some parts off a car. We were pulling parts off a Dodge Stealth because they're really hard to find parts for.
Yeah, no,
But
dude, stealth.
I, I I saw it sitting. I pulled in. I just see it right in front of me. I'm like, there's no fucking way. I get out. I grab it. I put it next to my truck, and I go, oh, I'm buying this. I walk right. I marched right into the office. I go, how much? And she goes, where'd you get it? Right out there. She goes, $20. I go, sold.
Yeah, no, dude. Like I was saying, I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate junkyards for what you can find there. Because, like I said, I've seen videos of people finding like I said bags, coils, turbos, superchargers, everything. You just got to take the time to go. And I mean, obviously, you may not find something your first go. So, I mean,
What's that? What's that really good Mitsubishi motor?
oh my gosh,
I
can't
don't.
remember.
I'm not 1,000% sure what it is, but I'll have to get Jonathan back on the podcast because he's actually the one that found it in my local junkyard. Like, he found this really awesome motor that he was going to swap into his Eclipse, and they ended up selling the Eclipse and getting a Camaro that he 5.3 swapped out of a junkyard and ended up just having it built. Like, this motor is built.
I mean, there's a couple of different engines, man. Are you talking like about the Sirius, the 4B1, the 4G9,
I think it was.
or
I'm not 1,000% sure. I know it was. I know it was in an Eclipse, and it was the OEM motor. But I'm not sure. I'll have to find that out for you guys.
damn, now I gotta find this now. I'm curious.
Man, I got Austin on a hunt. Like, I can't remember what. I don't even remember what year Eclipse had the. I
Yeah,
want to
man.
see here.
Yeah, dude. I'm not.
I forget.
I don't know, man. I don't know the name of that. I was looking. I saw like the Sirius, the 4B1, the 4G9.
Ah, I don't know. Man, I'm not very good with Mitsubishi. I've never, 4G63. That's what it was. It was a 4G63.
Okay, so it wasn't the 4G9. It was close enough though.
No, I found it.
You said
4G63.
you said he swapped that in what?
He was going to swap it into his '01 Mitsubishi Eclipse GT.
Ooh, that's not a bad car. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Eclipses.
Oh, dude, his was bad. His was mean. You can buy it if you want. It's just got a lot of problems.
Yeah, nah, dude. I'm not in the market to buy a car right now.
It's on marketplace for $2,800.
Nah, I'm good, dude. I'm broke. If I'm spending 20, if I'm going for anything car related and spending $2,800, I'm buying a supercharger, or
Yeah.
at least a really nice turbo kit, because then I mean, for what the supercharger is going to cost, I could buy like one or two turbos and make just about the same, or if not a little more horsepower.
Right, but do you want the horsepower on demand or do you want the lag?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, the flutter of the turbo is pretty satisfying, dude. But the scream of a supercharger,
Yes, I do love a good supercharger whine. Supercharger whine sounds great.
but oh
Not
my
gonna lie.
gosh, dude.
They sound, oh man. Just oh.
The Dodge, my gosh, dude, the Dodge Demon. I was actually, fun story. I was driving past. It's an auto body shop right off Lee May Ferry up by South County Mall. Can't remember the name of it, but
I don't know, I'm not up that way very often.
I was right across the street at Checkered Flag, actually picking up my SCX 24. Um, and I just remember being inside, and this guy came in. He was like, "Dude," and he knew the guy who owned the shop, and he was like, "Yeah, I came from across the street. They have a Dodge Demon sitting in the parking lot." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's a Dodge Demon over there." I was like, "I'll be right
I'm
back."
going over there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going over there. I'll be right back. I was like, hold my two RCs. I'll be right across the street. And as by the time I got out of the parking lot, and was getting ready to leave, and not leave to go across the street, the dude was pulling out of the parking lot and leaving. And obviously, he's one of those. You could just tell when he was one of those guys who wanted to show off. And
Like
so
he's gonna floor
he, did,
it.
he didn't say he didn't floor it, but he definitely
But he's gonna show it.
he showed off a little bit, because I remember he pulled out, and like I'm literally about to pull across the street, and he took off, dude. And it's just like I said, hearing that whine, oh my gosh, it's bone chilling, dude. Almost, like, God, I can't remember how much the Demon is, like 807 horsepower.
Ah,
Time to Google it.
yep.
Dodge Demon horsepower.
840 horsepower. According to Dodge Garage.
840.
Yep.
Still not. I'm not gonna lie. Love the Demon, dude, but still not nothing compared to the ZL1 Camaro with the Hennessy swap. Yeah, the extra twist.
Yeah.
I think
The
it's like
Hennessy Camaro. I wouldn't. Oh, Yanko still makes them. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on a Yanko.
Hennessy Camaro.
According to Hot Cars.
I don't care. I don't care what Hot Cars has to say, dude. But yeah, you're sitting there talking about, so like Dodge was like, oh, we're gonna like, they're sitting there railing lines of cocaine, and like we're gonna put take the Hellcat engine, make it better, give it about 100 and something more horsepower. We're gonna call it the Demon, and it's going to be the only street legal production car that can stand up on its back wheels. And then Chevy was like, "Yeah, nah, dude, hold our beer. We're gonna hit up our buddies over at Hennessy. We're gonna hit engine swap a ZL1 Camaro called the Extra Assist, and it's gonna have roughly about 1,000 to almost like 1,040 horsepower.
They're
and it's going
wild.
to shit on the demon hard. Oh my
But
gosh!
now they've made the Elephant, which
Are
is
you talking about the damn supercharged minivan?
no.
Or are you talking about something else? Because I remember
Uh,
Dodge announced they were
it's
doing it.
it's a 1,000 horsepower engine.
Is that with or without supercharger?
426 supercharged. It's a 426 with a fucking supercharger on it that makes 1,000 horsepower out of the box, ready to go. But you know what's funny? And then Chevy goes, hold my beer, bud. Carbureted 632, 1,015 horsepower out of the box. Naturally aspirated.
Oh my gosh, dude! Naturally aspirated. That is ridiculous.
Imagine putting a 2-liter Whipple on top of that and 2 Edelbrock 4 barrels on top of that.
Dude, it just oh my gosh, dude! I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a insanely big fan of Dodge, but one of the most like off the wall things I've ever seen. They're like, okay, what can we do to really show off and just be that company that just says, fuck you guys, we are going to
The
do
SRT 10 pickup.
no, not that, dude. They took a Chrysler Pacifica, put the Hellcat engine in it, dude. They
Oh my
straight up
god.
they supercharged a soccer mom van,
Oh
and
no.
it is called the Chrysler Pacifica SRT.
Dude, that's like when your son has wrestling at 8 and your daughter has soccer at 8:15 on the other side of town.
For when you when you really gotta get across town in like 5 minutes.
Oh my, that would be nuts.
Now, just like everything I've seen has been just like pictures and like digital renderings, and like there could be possibly just rumors thrown around.
We
But from
don't
like
have a solid build yet.
I I believe there is one, but they're very limited.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, a supercharged right here. It says a 6.2 liter supercharged Hellcat Hemi V8.
Oh my god.
It's front wheel drive too,
Oh my god.
so it's not pushing
Can
you;
you
it is
imagine the
pulling you.
steering wheel? Can you imagine the steering torque it has to compensate for?
I'm sure Dodge took. Hey, that is bonkers. I gotta find out the horsepower in this thing. Hold on.
That's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Why Dodge? Why must you do crazy things?
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. So this is what this thing is supposed to
Dodge,
look
you need
like.
to calm down.
So I don't. I'm gonna show this to the camera. This is roughly what it's supposed to look like.
That looks like a damn soccer mom van.
It looks like a badass soccer mom van.
Like that thing is gonna like you see that trying to pass you going on the highway and you're in your like 600 horse clapped out uh junkyard build and you're like, oh hell no, bwah, bwah. And she just goes, ha, gone.
Oh my gosh, dude. 6.72 liter Hemi V8 that produces an astounding 807 horsepower at 707 foot-pounds of torque.
That's all going to the front wheels. That's on steering knuckles. How does it compensate for the torque? Like, is that a wild ride or is it smooth?
I'm gonna do a whole lot of studying, dude. I gotta find one of these things.
I have
What?
to drive one.
Yeah, dude, we gotta drive one.
I have to drive one. Like, we have to find out. We absolutely have to find out. what does driving that feel like? Like, does it jerk the steering wheel, or is the steering wheel buttery smooth? And if it is buttery smooth, how the hell they do it?
That is absurdly stupid, dude. I fucking love it. I
I
would
do
do,
too.
dude. I would commit crimes for this van.
But I'm gonna be real with you. A soccer mom does not need this van.
No, dude, this isn't for like a soccer mom. I feel like this is for like the dad who had
This
to
is like
compensate. This is
this
for
is the dad who had to compensate.
who had to not compensate but compromise. The wife's like, "We're getting
Oh
a
yeah,
minivan."
compromised.
Dad's like,
Compromised. My
"No,
bad.
we're getting a Hellcat," and they finally they compromised and they're like,
And
"Fuck it, we're just gonna
I
get a Hellcat minivan."
I
Call it a
guess
day.
I guess Dodge saw it too much at the dealership and they called up corporate and was like, "Yo, we got too many fighting over Hellcat or minivan. We just got to combine them."
We, it's like, now hear me out. I got a crazy ass idea. We're gonna do the Hellcat. We're gonna supercharged MV8.
In a minivan.
We're gonna put it in something. And they're like, "Oh, dude, sweet. What are we gonna put in? Are we gonna put in like a Chrysler 300? Are we gonna do like obviously like the Ram TRX?" And it's like, no. They have this like a line of Coke sitting on the table. They're just railing. They're like, a fucking Chrysler Pacifica, and it is going to be the baddest minivan on the market. And I gotta see. Like, I wonder. I need to find out if there's video of this thing on a strip somewhere because I got to find out the times.
Now,
'Cause that
ladies, when your man looks at you after you say we're buying a minivan and that's final, and he goes, "Okay, just know you're about to spend about $100,000 on that minivan."
no, I gotta. No, that's another thing I gotta Google.
How much does that cost? What is it? The Pacifica RT?
It is the Chrysler Pacifica SRT.
SRT.
That's videos, but that's not gonna help you, dude. It's $60,000.
Is
It's
60 grand?
it's cheaper than a Hellcat, dude.
You have got to be kidding me.
Jason, okay, this might drain us financially for quite a few lifetimes, but I believe if we work really hard and probably sell ourselves, we can do it.
we could make this happen.
My God, dude. See, we're talking about like we shouldn't like people shouldn't be allowed to have cars with that much power, and like right out the gate, and they were just like, you know what?
Hey, I can handle it though.
I can handle it. Gosh, dude, oh fuck, that is
I
just insane.
I know how to drive. I'm just worried about other people that don't know how to drive.
Oh my gosh, dude, that people who don't know how to drive that.
It's scary.
Yeah, no, dude, that actually something like, and this we're probably everybody getting off topic here again. We're just bantering.
Oh, that is the entire point of this podcast, sir. We start on a kind of baseline and we stray wherever we go.
Yeah, just for fun. But I have actually a few
Hey, man,
like stories about.
I'm here
that.
to have fun. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Let's do this.
But that reminded me, like the other day, dude, I was actually driving. I was off work, and I had a doctor's appointment. I had to be there like 9:30, and I'm getting off at the I think it's 270. And I was getting off at the Tesson exit to go to my doctor's,
Yeah.
and there's this silver Jeep Patriot, like 7, 8, maybe 10 car lengths behind me, but there was a truck in front of me,
Yeah.
so I couldn't merge over just yet. And he sped up, and eventually I was like, you know what, I'm not going to be able to get past him.
It's like he's gone, man.
So I had to not turn, but slow down just a little bit so I could have just enough room to get over. I was still going to be probably like a good like 6, 7 feet away from his bumper, which I realize is kind of dangerous, but I wasn't staying in that lane. I was getting over in the next one.
Yeah.
As I'm getting ready to get over, and I had my window down, dude. So this like by this time I'm getting ready to go over. This dude's maybe like 3 or 4 car lengths behind me, decides to floor it and get up next to me. He wouldn't let me over. Like literally, I tried to slow down a little more. He slowed down too, looked over at me, and just it tried to run me into a guardrail, dude. And I just about hit it and went off,
Dude.
flew off into a ditch, dude. But quick thinking, dude. I slammed the brakes and I went into like the shoulder of the road a little bit, and like I said, almost hit the guardrail, dude. I was like, I in my head, I was like, my car's totaled. I'm done. I haven't even had this car a year.
It's like,
And
it's
it's
over.
done. But the like I say, quick thinking, dude. Thankfully, like after my adrenaline stopped, like pound like going so hard, I was like, that was scary. That was probably one of the scariest incidents I've ever had. Because when I say that's no understatement, dude, he tried running me into the rail because he didn't want to be in front of me. He didn't want to be behind me. He wanted to be exactly where I was. And I just, like I said, my adrenaline was pumping, dude. I was terrified. And in the back, like, and I was scared. I'm not gonna lie, dude. People might call me a bitch for this, but I was almost in tears, dude. Like I was so like terrified, dude. And then
Dude,
once I calmed down,
I was bawling at in my accident. My favorite truck ever just got smashed with me in it. I was bawling.
dude,
I didn't even realize I hadn't even realized I was hurt yet. I was bawling because my truck was broke beyond repair.
yeah, no, dude. I was in my head. I'm like, how am I going to explain this? But like once like I said, I calmed down. My adrenaline stopped going. Pumping so hard. I in my head, I'm just like that. I'm okay. Thank God for this. I had somebody looking out for me, man. And I was like, I'm fine. My car is perfect. It's fine. But then I started to get a little petty. I was
Yeah.
like, okay. I was like, and he sped off and like in front of me, and he ran a red light to turn and everything, dude, because he had already like in his mind he had just caused an accident. He's gone. He didn't stick around. So like I said, I started to get a little petty after I calmed down. And I was like, I hope this fucker is going to where I need to be. And sure enough, Jason, I pulled into that fucking doctor's parking lot.
No.
He was his car was sitting there, and I only knew it was his car because I saw the license plate.
No,
And so I
dude.
snapped a picture of his license plate, and by the time I got there, I had like probably 15-20 minutes to before my appointment started, or I had to be inside at least. And I even was messaging my wife. I was like, hey, this is what happened. I'm scared, and I'm okay. The Jeep's okay, but I'm thinking about calling the police on this dude because he literally just about had he hit me, I probably would have died, dude. I was like, should I call the police and report this? And I'm not gonna lie to you. Eventually, I just fucking. I was like, I'm probably never gonna see the dude again. What's the point? Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna lie. That was a couple of days
I
ago.
mean, that's how I view it. It's really not worth the struggle and hassle. If you're fine, everything's fine, nothing was damaged, it's all good.
Oh no, dude. If everything was damaged, if I would have found him, dude, I would not be here. I'd be in jail, hands down. I would never be able to leave jail again, dude. But I was, I
If my
was.
leg wasn't broken in my accident, I was thinking about getting out of that truck and breaking that other dude's nose.
Oh no, dude, I was full. Well, like I was ready to like fight this person, but like I said, I sat outside in that parking lot and waited for them to come out for like about roughly 15 minutes. No one ever came out, so I said screw it. I'm just not gonna make a report or anything. I went inside, came back out, and the person was gone. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I really hope they walk. I'm walking out and they walk to that car because as soon as I see the person reach for that door handle on that vehicle, I'm walking over to them and I'm going ape shit. Like I don't care who it is. Like you almost fucking that was like I said, hands down one of the
Like,
scariest
bro, you
moments,
almost
dude.
destroyed my car.
Like oh my gosh, what's another scary moment? The Sonata, like I was telling you about earlier. My hunt, you've seen my Sonata shitty car, dude.
Mhm.
Everyone who's listening, do me a favor, don't go, do not buy Hyundai. I'm not saying all their cars are bad, but they're all around a pretty shitty company. like like before I get into like this, dude. So my Sonata, it was fine for a while. It was honestly, it was cool. It was comfortable. It was very easy riding. It was amazing on gas, oddly. But just out of nowhere, I was driving to work. This is when you and I were both at the CBD shop. Um,
Do you know if we can say their name?
I'm not saying anything, dude.
Did you quit?
I'll get into that here in a moment.
I got fired.
For a bull for fucking stupid petty ass reason, if you ask me. But we'll get into that here in a little bit.
We're not getting into that on this podcast.
Yeah, not dude. But for sure. But like I said, I was driving to work, and like I said previously, I mean, I've had the occasional like faulty sensor. I mean, just like faulty batteries, just every routine maintenance on this car that we'd kept up. We had took care of it.
Right.
Um, I'm just driving and I'm getting ready to get off on the gravelway exit, and about like probably like 600-700 feet before I have to merge. Out of nowhere, I'm doing roughly about like 70, 75. My
Yeah.
RPMs plummet. My car slows down. I go from doing roughly about, like I said, 75, dude, down to like 60 or just under 60. I don't know what happened. Like there was nothing like under the gas pedal, nothing. Just out of
Was it
nowhere, the
governed or something?
no, dude, because I've been a faster in that car before.
That's weird.
Uh, I don't know what happened. It just like out of nowhere, it started having all these problems. Like whenever like acceleration, like whenever I would go, even just like that was the first incident that happened. It stopped for like a day or two, and then that's when it started to like occur even more. Like even just leaving like parking lots, like going from my house to the gas station around the corner, dude. I would go to turn. I would get right. I would start to speed up a little bit. Again, like RPMs would plummet. I would slow down significantly.
Yeah.
And my car didn't want to accelerate for some reason. And I took this vehicle, dude, to not only the place I had bought it from, but at least like three other additional shops for them to look at this vehicle. And every single one of them said, "There's nothing wrong with your car. Why are you bringing it here?" I'm like, "There's something. I'm telling you, there's something wrong with my car." There I was like, "There's it's." And I told them what had happened. They're like, "Okay, we'll keep it for a day or two to really see what's going on." And this is again, don't buy Hyundai, especially from any place SunTrust, because SunTrust's terrible. They kept my car for like 6 days, dude. Drove it so much that my tank was almost like bone dry, like no gas. It had literally a full tank when we dropped it off. They emailed my wife like 4 or 5 days later, or maybe roughly about 4, 5, 6 days later, and told her, "Hey, yeah, we're not going to continue to work on your vehicle unless you come put gas in it." It's like, no, there was gas in that car when we dropped it off. So you know, and then it's just like, whatever. So we went. They put gas in after we had like a huge fit over it. But anyway, like back to the whole thing. Like I had this car in roughly four shops total, and every single one of these places had my car for roughly about a day, like a 2 or 3 days. Every last one of them said, "Oh, we don't know what's going on. We don't know um, if it's." Like an acceleration problem. It's not throwing code. Everything looks fine. And it just, I don't know, dude. There was something wrong with that car. There still is something wrong with this vehicle to this day. We don't have it anymore. Her mom and dad have it, but it knock on wood, dude. As of late, actually has had no problems. Like the problem mysteriously like vanished. But
Hey man, I
it
swear to you,
just,
cars have personalities, and if they don't like someone, they're gonna act weird.
it did not. Like I said, it wouldn't want to accelerate. It wouldn't do anything, dude. Like it would. I mean, any time I got above 30 from that moment on, it would be fine, and then just like 5 minutes into driving, it would plummet. It wouldn't want to accelerate. It wouldn't want to go up any hills for some reason. like I said, it didn't throw code anywhere at any of the dealerships, any of the dealership, the mechanic shops, everything. That they all said it's in almost pristine condition. We don't know why you're here. It's like I'm not wasting your time. Like they looked at me like I was crazy, dude. Like I'm not crazy. I know my car. There's something going on with this. It needs to be addressed. And it's just nothing, dude. It was just shitty cars, and then that's when we were like, it's time to move on to something else, man. We gave it to her mom and dad, and then that's where I drive that fucking gas guzzler of a Jeep, believe it or not. And I call it a gas guzzler, dude, but honestly, it's not bad on gas. It's not great, but it could be so much worse.
I say the same thing about my LS truck, but I mean, yeah, it could be a lot worse.
It was, oh my gosh, dude.
But anyways, guys, I think that'll have to wrap it up for this episode.
Oh shit!
Thank you.
It's 8:00.
Yeah, thank you very much, Austin, for coming on the show. I hope to have you on again soon, man. Like this was great.
It was, dude. I'll have to share in that the next one, dude. My rant about Mustangs and why I feel they're hated so much. Oh my gosh, dude! But yeah, it was definitely awesome being here, dude.
That'll do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to check all the links in the description and have you guys selves a wonderful rest of your day.